deep in an underground secret Pacific Island lair, Pop Culture Minefield presents Saturday Morning Funtime. This is the Comic Relief Crusader telling you to get your morning cereal ready, because here we go.
Good morning. Saturday. Well, it's afternoon. But we don't care because it's Saturday morning fun time. It's morning somewhere.
Wow.
I'm having my delicious fuel up. So this show is brought to you by Fuel Up, and so is this host. I don't know about you guys. I'm hoping you guys are still fueling up.
Oh, yeah.
So this show is brought to you by Fuel Up. And Bill is here producing the show today. Thank you, Bill. Bill wished us to have a good show. And just to let folks know, Keith has just lost his mind because he found out this morning that almost in just one day, he had over 1,000 views on his show on Thursday over on Rumble. And very excited by that. And he looked like a 16-year-old girl who got the prettiest corsage on prom night. He's like, what was it Sally Field said? You love me. You really love me. I like teasing you, but the fact is I'm proud of you, man. That was really good. Knocked it out of the park.
It's my pleasure to be able to do this. As I was saying, I don't do this, in my mind consciously thinking that there are a lot of people listening to me. I just do this how I've often done this for years, which is with a few friends around me.
Dude, you can talk for hours, and after the end of it, when you finally come to your point, there's nobody there. You're doing it because you love it.
Good night, everyone.
I tease you all the time. My favorite thing to tease you about is it takes you 2 hours to describe 60 minutes.
Well, yeah, because there's so much I want to say, and it's almost like I should just go ahead and clone myself so that every single version of me can get out there and just say all the branching stuff that leads.
Well, the thing is, though, is you're being proactive, Keith. You're doing what we talked about yesterday when Paul came on.
Yeah.
And we talked about trying to put some positive energy out in the universe. And what you're doing on those shows is really good because, we're trying to do it too on the Saturday show. The Saturday thing is instead of doing news and information like we had been doing for a long time, we turned it into talking about the things we love. The best way to criticize modern entertainment is by displaying and talking about what was good in the past, why it was good, and how it came about being good. But we also will talk about some of the negative aspects with it, too, is where you could see where things went off the rails. And one of those is, of course, the show we're talking about today, which is Space 1999, which to you and me, growing up, because we're close to the same age, we grew up on Star Trek. And when Star Trek ended, there wasn't much left for us. Nerds, we get very little. It wasn't until after 2005 that nerds started getting their payoff in entertainment.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about with Marvel. Marvel really, started going in the right direction and gave us what I've called for a long time, our nerd spring, where suddenly it was everywhere. They're wanting to make money off it. I get that. You put money into something, you want to make money back. But back in the 70s, we didn't get very much. And a lot of the crap we got was crap. I think one of the rare ones other than Space 1999 was UFO and a little show that lasted one season, maybe two. I'm not sure. Because I have all the episodes. I forget how long it lasted. It was Quark.
Yeah.
Which was a comedy. But it was a sci-fi comedy created, I do believe, by Buck Henry. The same guy behind Get Smart. And it kind of flipped Star Wars on its ass. And the story is about a garbage scow traveling space, solving situations as they tried to collect refuse from other ships. And then Space 1999 came out. and I love the fact that you're going to break this down. Like, we didn't get it by accident. I mean,
Well,
there's
you
a
also
bit of luck to it, but it's not by accident. It was by design that show came out. So get into it, buddy.
okay. First of all, let me just say, Gary is completely right with everything he has said. For those of you under a particular age, and in this particular case, I would say anyone under the age of 40, you got to understand science fiction entertainment, as far as television and film was concerned, is not like it is now. You were lucky to find something that was really cool to watch, let alone something that would be close enough to being successful enough that you could watch it for more than one season or get even talk of a sequel as far as a movie is concerned. And one of the people that I think is directly responsible for that is Mr. Jerry Anderson. Jerry Anderson was really one of the people that helped to raise our generation. And when I say our generation, I really do
Doug
mean
was born in the 60s.
In the 60s and kind of into the 70s. But Jerry Anderson was definitely one of the three big names that was out there just producing entertainment. And he had been doing it for a long time. A lot of his Super Marionation programs, Joe 90, Captain Scarlet, Supercar, everybody knows the Thunderbirds. And after years of putting entertainment like that out there, he wanted to try something just a little bit new. So what he did was he put together a program that basically was a lot like a lot of these other programs, except this time around, he decided to use actual actors. And that brings us to his series UFO.
Do we got a video for that?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and before you get into, I don't want to talk during it because we have to edit out the video later because we'll probably get claimed on it. But go ahead and show what you got there, Martin.
Show me what you got. Sure.
If you don't know what that is, that's from
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. Yeah, show me what you got.
Gonna miss that show.
Oh, shit.
Oh, let's not talk. I don't say anything interesting during the video. Are you going to play it?
Yes.
Are you keeping us in suspense?
Of course.
The show's a mystery now. Go for it. Go ahead, pause it. So right there, you got to see the UFO. You get to see these awesome miniatures right here. Mm-hmm. This is great. We'll get into that in a minute. Okay, go ahead, play. All right, pull that shit down. We'll get claimed later. We'll deal with it. But I love that. I love the music, man. He always had energetic music. Captain Scarlet and all that stuff. From his earlier shows with the Marionettes, Thunderbirds. But good grief, that was so 70s. That music.
Oh yeah.
Richard Edlund and his miniatures. Man, Richard Edlund would work on other films, James Bond, Alien, all that stuff. He was great at making miniatures.
Oh yeah, and real, just the bright colors and everything. Remember, for those of you who are, Alex Kurtzman Star Trek fans, it is possible to make science fiction that is good, solid entertainment, and for it not to be dark.
It needs to be fun too. They always forget the fun part. I always loved in the UFO those little ships. They had one rocket. each ship had one rocket for fighting the aliens, and then they got to go all the way back to base and reload again. I'm like, why would you design that? But it was still cool looking. It looked like, well, I do believe that they had an impact on what would become the Vipers in Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, very much
similar in design, and but still, the UFOs were so cool the way they looked. That there was that clear plastic hull and the spinning discs on the outside, and it just looked so cool. And they'd have the laser effects. Back when we wanted that, we wanted more laser effects. How did they do that? You know, and for those of us that made Super 8 movies as kids, we would do it with a pen, and we would scratch the lasers frame by frame into the shot. It was fun.
Wow.
And then learning later that how they pulled a lot of that stuff using one, black backgrounds, not blue screen. And, you know, because Star Wars really pushed the envelope for using what's called a traveling mat. Back then, they were using just black backgrounds with stars already there. And you would, you know, with the lights back there for stars. And it was just miniatures on wires. And it worked. The Japanese did it too. They did it, I think, to a less successful degree because it looked like they were on wires. Whereas in Space 1999, a UFO in particular, who's, you know, came off the heels of his other shows, they would, you know, do far more with the wire work on these miniatures.
It just all looked
Thunderbirds
great.
in particular. You know, Thunderbirds, really amazing. Things going from air to water was really cool the way they pulled it off. And then they did that in this too. Because you have the air sub. It's a sub underwater that would launch part that would go up in the eye and fight these aliens when they would come to Earth.
Well, I mean, it was taking everything that he had learned doing all those previous shows, especially Thunderbirds, and just putting a new spin on it and having it be different in that you now had actual physical actors on screen. And it shows, I mean, look, this is 1970. So what? They started production in 69. So you're literally talking within months of Star Trek going off the air. And if you think about the visual effects that they had on that show, to go from that to this, I mean, boom. It's a wonder that, especially those of us here in the States, in the colonies, really enjoyed, and were blown away by what we saw. It was just,
and it was such a little studio too they had when they first started.
Yes, it was a little studio.
It was like a house.
Well, I mean, they celebrated their 50th anniversary of that show. Wow. Back in 2020. So for those of you who are really interested in going beyond what we're doing, you know, right now with this, go ahead and check it out because they have all kinds of stuff that's available. Episodes for a show that didn't last that long. It has had an incredible effect, you know, especially the women. I mean, okay, I'm gonna get right to it. For those of us that remember when this show hit, it was definitely the women. I mean, oh my goodness! Even at a young age, it was like, whoa, puberty. What's that? Oh my goodness!
Well, the chat seems to agree with you.
I mean, every young guy, the first time you saw this show, just, oh my goodness, they got away with stuff that even Gene Roddenberry was going.
Yeah, the mesh costume for the submariners, the people that worked in the sub, the men, you would go, oh, okay, and then the woman would walk by and you go, I can see her boobs underneath her outfit. And for us young guys, it's like we're getting away with something watching that show. Looking around to make sure dad or mom's not watching.
And even if they were, it was like, whoa.
Exactly. Hey, Darius Munchausen with a $4 super sticker. I'm assuming it's the pear and the coffee because that's his signature. Thanks a lot, Darius. Appreciate the support and I appreciate you showing up, buddy. Hey, who all is here, by the way? Let me check see who's all here. We got Penny. I want to have the mirror again from Romper Room.
Romper Room.
I see Penny. I see Monkey Jeebus. Thank you. Come again. Anima Confusa, love of my life. Rob Altus is here. Veritax, Boosh McFadden, the Peter Vinkman fan site, also known as Vinkman's Girl, Joe's Atmosphere, Sean E. Step, who's been a member for how long, Martin? How long has he been a member?
I don't know.
Sean Eastep.
It showed in the chat when the
Yes?
show was launching. Yeah.
Oh
let me
no,
go.
I don't have that. Remember, I got.
I'll check in a second. And of course, our good friend Darius Munchausen is here, the safest Munchausen for children. Thank you for the $4 super sticker. For you, sir, I will give you this very special clip. Let me think. What do we got here? Oh, a video clip of Brian speaking Scottish to other Scottish people.
If he was a wee bit closer, I could lob a caber at him, kin. It's just nae fair marking a speck for the hand of the coin. It doesn't win to nae but yet. Kin?
And if you want to check him out on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. in the morning Central Standard Time, Brian does his show. And it's been fun so far. He's really getting into it. I think this coming week is the Beatles one, or is that the one he did this
Yeah, it's this coming week, and that's going to be
the
fun.
Beatles. Were they overhyped? Were they really that good? I think Anima has an opinion on that. She doesn't like the Beatles. Don't tell anyone.
Well,
thanks again. What?
Well, to bring up a point, I was going to bring this up earlier, but didn't get a chance. In the 70s, we didn't have stuff like the internet, and there was basically only two places that a sci-fi fan would get information about what's coming out. One's TV Guide, and the other one's Starlog magazine.
Starlog, once it came out, that's right.
Yeah.
And
once it did, because prior to that, if you really wanted information,
Hey,
it's Joe. Hey, man,
what's up, guys?
If you really wanted information, there was also the magazine called Famous Monsters, which was
Famous
really
Monsters of Movie Land.
Yeah.
Well, you and I had that one because we read Creepy and Monster Magazine. And you had TV Guide, because TV Guide was good because it would let us know, because they did a lot of interviews and write about stuff that was coming up. And I think the first time we saw artwork from Frank Frazetta for Battlestar Galactica was in TV Guide.
Yeah, that was
amazing.
It
in that one? It wasn't in Starlog? Or, no?
TV Guide was the first one to cover Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. And Starlog came in with its big stuff too right after, but TV Guide, because it was a weekly publication, was the first one to cover what was coming with, and they didn't even have photos. All they had was the production art that Frazetta had done.
Now,
what published that in the magazine?
What Starlog had access to before everybody else was the development of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Terry O'Quinn, right?
Yeah.
The publisher?
Yes.
Hey, I'm not sticking around long. I just want to stick my head in and say hi. I didn't even know you guys were on at this time, so I just wanted to stop by and say hi. I wish I could stick around, man, because Space 99 is one of the coolest things ever. I used to have the toys, and I barely saw the show. I mean, we couldn't get it here, so but I had the toys because I dug them. But anyway, I just want to say hi, see how you guys are doing, and I'll see half of you tomorrow for the wrestling show. You guys be good.
All right, man.
Bye.
The wrestling show.
The wrestling show. That's right.
Hey, Don is in the chat.
Don, I see Don. I invited him to join us if he wanted to, and be glad to hear his thoughts on Space 1999 and UFO. To be honest with you,
he's going to say that those aliens were some bitches.
I'm going to double check something real quick here. You go ahead, Keith.
Okay. Veritex, the year of the show when it came out was 1970, although within the show, I think it was 1984, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
it was one of two shows that was actually set in 1984 that was made prior to 1970. The other one being Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was set in 1984.
Yeah. By the way, I just checked. I said it wrong. not Terry O'Quinn, it was Kerry O'Quinn.
Kerry O'Quinn. Okay.
The head of Starlog. So
Yeah.
I saw somebody's comment in the chat, Rob Altus. Not that Terry O'Quinn. He's the actor. I love that guy. I used to get their names in my head screwed up because Terry O'Quinn, Kerry O'Quinn.
Oh, look, we could not have made it as far as we had without Starlog and Famous Monsters of Filmland. I mean, those two magazines really set the stage for everything that came after. You cannot have gotten us to this point without both those magazines. So, hats off.
And they really did. They led the way. They created the first feeling of cohesiveness of the national nerd consciousness.
Yeah, because prior to that, nobody knew what was out there, especially the people making this entertainment. They had no clue. And while Star Trek did become successful in the immediate aftermath of its cancellation, nobody had any clue. Nobody was really wanting to measure this. And even though you had people starting to gather together to create conventions for Star Trek after the show was off the air, no clue, none at all. So going into this, starting with UFO, and putting people on there was a response, but it wasn't enough of one to really save the series headed into its second season. That eventually led to the basic plans that would eventually turn it into UFO. Now, the other show that Jerry Anderson was also trying to handle at that time was a show called The Protectors. And that one was had Robert Vaughn as its lead. There seemed to be this whole era in the early 1970s where a lot of American actors would go overseas and start leading these really I don't want to use the word cheap, but very economical television shows made in very exotic places. But Robert Vaughn, fresh off of Man from U.N.C.L.E., leading this show was sort of different. Also, it was different in that there was no visual effects provided realistically that could be seen from Jerry Anderson and his crew. This was really an attempt to create a regular television show, but to have the kinds of visuals and the way that you would shoot kind of like a James Bond type series. But the reason why I bring it up is because one of the actors from this show would eventually become one of the major actors for Space 1999, which is Tony Anhalt. Anhalt. Anyway.
Yeah, Anthony. He joined the second season of Space 1999.
Yes, he did. So eventually, Jerry Anderson and his people got to work on what would eventually become Space 1999. And just to let some of you know, when you're done watching our show today, go to YouTube because you can find the pilot episode already up and ready to go. It's called Breakaway. But remember, this is a different kind of show. Okay, this is not like other TV shows where it's all about just visual effects and whatever. The pacing of the show, the way the show was written, very British, and having a international cast and the way that they had those cast of characters together really made this show different than a lot of other shows from that same period, both in terms of costumes, set designs, and of course visual effects, some of which had been I think based on things that we had seen in UFO, but taken to the next level. One of which is one of the most it's one of the few science fiction spacecraft that I think could realistically be in operation right now, and that's the Eagle. It's a beautiful design, very economical, very useful.
Well, they were inspired. I want to put this in there. They were inspired by 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Odyssey, of course, used NASA to its benefit to make sure everything was done accurately. So they did the same thing to make things that looked functional. You know, because when you're in space, you need to be what's that called? Where everything needs to be functional. I forget the word. There's a word for it. Utilitarian is the word I'm looking for. And the Eagle looked fully functional. You know, it followed all the rules that NASA had taught 2001: A Space Odyssey, that for windows in space, you need to have black around it to absorb all that light.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't blinding the crew inside the cockpit. They did it. They did everything. And it really looked functional. And
yeah, you wouldn't see another
designs.
You wouldn't see another television show that would take to heart everything NASA had put out there until at least Babylon 5.
And the show, they didn't start making anything what you could call fancy until they created the fighters in, was it season 2?
Mm-hmm.
When they made the Hawks.
Wow. This show was just, it was amazing. And this is what, 1975 is when the show started. By
the way, did you point out, because I didn't catch it, that what was supposed to be the next season of UFO is what would become
Space 1999. Yes. And they had to come up with a way, once UFO couldn't return, they had to come up with a way of retooling the show and a lot of its basic ideas to create a brand new story. Personally, I don't think they really had to work that hard. But it was
they already had a moon base.
Mm-hmm. So really it was just coming up with a reason to do something different, like, I don't know, have a moon base and to have the moon leave the orbit of the Earth and become this, home, in a sense, away from home for all of these lost travelers. It was really well done. And again, at the age that I was at, it was very effective. I personally think that one of the other things that allowed this show to be very different was in casting Martin Landau and Barbara Bain as your leads, and Barry Morse. Martin Landau and Barbara Bain were known to many Americans as from the television series Mission Impossible. That other show that was from Desilu Productions.
Yep. In Star Trek.
At the same year.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a group of Americans come on and lead this international cast was the best idea ever. And I will say this, I don't think you could have ever have really achieved many of the things necessary if you didn't have someone like Martin Landau leading the cast. And as a side note, Martin Landau had technically been in the running to become Mr. Spock for Star Trek.
Yep.
Hi, Don.
Good.
Well done.
How are you, Don?
I am doing okay today, guys. Hope you all are too.
Yeah, not doing badly, yeah.
It's always a good day when we're able to talk about the fun stuff we love. And Space 1999 was one of those shows.
Well, I actually saw that before I saw Star Trek.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back when Star Trek first premiered, that was in competition originally with my old man watching Combat. So we watched Combat.
Wow, that's a good show too.
But I didn't see it until the mid '70s when it was in syndication. But 1999 had Barbara Bain.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was something.
She was amazing. Everybody was really good in this show. And while there were those of us that were kind of disappointed that they wouldn't continue a lot of the a lot of the imaginative clothing choices from UFO. We it was still good. I mean, you still had a lot of nice ladies to look at.
Well, speaking of UFO, Straker, I guess I should say, first time I ever saw him originally was in, believe it or not, the James Bond movie You Only Live Twice.
Oh,
he was one of the NASA guys tracking the space shots as they were being grabbed by Spectre.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was. We were watching it on Nick Weiser's Toxic Tuesday, and I pointed it out, going, "Oh crap, that's Straker."
And Bishop, yeah. Wow.
It's really obvious when you see him because he was one of those actors that was in England, that was from America.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have very many. It's like the gentleman that played Dr. Haywood Floyd in 2001: A Space Odyssey. He was one of those American actors that lived in the UK, so he got a lot of work in the UK. And the same thing with Straker. He's in anything produced there in England, shot in England. He was the go-to for an American.
Wow.
Good stuff. Good call up.
Really good stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So I guess I saved my nerd card again.
Yeah, you don't lose it this week.
You know what? Your nerd card's never in trouble with me, Don.
Yeah, it's not with me either. So don't single me out.
Because I'm not the one that's going to try to take it from you. Trust me on that one.
No, sirree, diddly no. Where are we now? Where are we in this?
Okay, we're starting with the first season of UFO. I mean, first season of Space 1999. But let me just say, again, you had an incredible cast led by actors who, at least those of us in America, were very familiar with. Barry Morse, a lot of people knew from the television series. Hold on, it'll come to me. The television series, The Fugitive.
Oh, yes. He was the cop. Yeah.
Yes, he was. The television series that gave great inspiration to the other television series called The Incredible Hulk. So, but having those three actors become your leads and building your entire campaign and show around those particular people was a really good idea. And then just sprinkling in a lot of British actors and others and just giving the entire show a very realistic, very international feel. I think outside of Star Trek, you had a crew that was from all over the planet. Everybody was meant to represent different places, different countries. And again, at this time, I think we had reached the height of popularity for Star Trek for a lot of fans. So having this show come on when it did was mind-blowing because it's brand new visual effects, a brand new aesthetic, brand new costumes. Even their tech was different. I remember thinking that while I did love the communicators from Star Trek, the communicators that they actually used on Space 1999, their technology seemed a little more realistic, a little more plausible.
Well, you also had the consoles.
Yes.
Whenever you turned a corner, because in Star Trek you would hear they'd walk up to a wall and you'd find a console there. In this one, it was an entire pillar with different things that you would need to communicate with other parts of the station.
Yes,
I love that.
Their communicators were more of an omni tool because they also used them to open doors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was just a whole different. It was very easy for this show to be different from Star Trek because you could just see it. It wasn't so much that it would have been easy for any show to try to copy what Star Trek had done, but to come out and be so different than Star Trek was really what helped the show and allowed the show to become as big as it was. You
Keith,
know,
I got a question for you.
yeah,
In 1999,
yeah.
the actress that played the female alien with the I guess you could say,
Maya.
from what I remember, the knitted eyebrows. Okay, who was that? Who was that actress, and what the hell was her backstory? I don't recall.
Catherine Shell, and she was introduced in season 2. She was one of the changes that Fred Freiberger had introduced in coming aboard the show. Basically, producer Fred Freiberger, who had worked his magic on Star Trek's 3rd season, and ultimately led to, I think, the show's cancellation. I think Gary and I can both agree.
We've talked about that asshole so many times. God, between him and what's his name that worked on Star Trek 2, that worked on all the films and sabotaged Star Trek 5.
Yeah.
That dude, what a jackass.
So he's the proto Kurtzman.
Because the problem was the first season of Space 1999 was executively produced and run by ITV or ITC Entertainment over in England. But then the second season, the U.S. New York office took over, and that's where Freiberger got brought in.
It was thought that it was better to try to give it a more
Monster of the freaking Week.
To
Lost
try
in
to
Space, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea
and
kind
Star
of
Trek.
crap.
Yeah, they thought we got to do what Star Trek did. So they kind of changed the basic formula of the show, even though they kept everything the same, by adding a few characters that weren't there in the first season and adding having an alien on board because you needed an alien. Star Trek had Mr. Spock, and you started to see that in other shows where you had to have an alien of some type. They even followed the same formula for Buck Rogers in the 25th
when
century.
they added Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Who had the coolest ship on the show?
Look, I would never disparage Hawk or what they actually did. I just thought it was a little jarring as to the reasons why. Well, that's its own thing, and we could talk about that at another time. But, I mean, it was still Space 1999, but to people who really enjoyed the kinds of storytellings that they had in the first season of Space 1999, to go to the kind of Monster of the Week type thing in season 2 was really kind of jarring, because there is a difference between British science fiction and American science fiction. British science fiction was used to having story arcs. They were used to having character development and taking stories, not literal stories, but really sort of individual character stories throughout a lot of episodes. They did that really well episodically too. But for whatever reason, in going to season 2, turning it into the Monster of the Week kind of changed the show a bit. It would be like if Joss Whedon had never done season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and they brought in someone else who was not that familiar with it. You had all the same actors and everything else, but unless you actually understood how to write for all those characters, it's very jarring, and you could lose a lot of what made you special. And unfortunately, that's what ended up happening with this show. It began to lose its way. And it started off with just small things, but eventually you could tell, personally, that was also when they introduced Fred Freiberger. It did allow them to create more merchandise and sell more merchandise in America. Remember, up to that point, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes, those were the two big things coming in to the mid 1970s. So to have something new on the market that was radically different, and let me just say, the toys that they introduced for Space 1999, you could not confuse that with anyone else's merchandise.
No, and God, man,
I think we lost Gary.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm here.
Well, yeah, I wanted to say that the Brits really do sci-fi, and in my opinion, sci-fi and horror pretty darn good. My favorite go-to Brit movie back in the very early 2000s was Dog Soldiers. I don't know of any American studio that could have pulled that off that was so realistic as what that was. Americans always seem to goofy it up, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the films that we were producing just in the 1970s were just not that far above just being constant, as far as science fiction, fantasy, and horror. A lot of the stuff that we were producing was just a step or two above just being basic B movie stuff in a bad way. And when you compare it to a lot of British entertainment from that same time period, they were just outdoing us. I mean, in terms of what they poured into their stories and how they directed those stories. So everybody was all in. Everybody, I mean, they were all into every project they ever did. And so, yeah, it was easy to see that they were kicking our butts. I mean, look at the Hammer horror films. I mean, that's a really good example. Or look at what they were doing with Doctor Who. And again, talk about a show that didn't have much of a budget, but they achieved. Oh, go ahead.
No, Gary, could you please go back to the previous slide?
This one?
Yeah.
The reason I froze is because I was uploading these so we could look at some photos.
That reminds me of the Enterprise in the Star Trek the movie.
The motion picture, yes.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah, very similar.
I'll go back again, and that looks like a whole of the Enterprise D.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
Well, and that's that console, by the way. Look at the console. You'll find them in every juncture within the ship or within offices. You would find that console for them to communicate. And this is some of the crew. The comments covering up who it is. If we can drop the comment just for a second.
Wait.
And drop that.
And the banner.
There we go. The drama students from Hollings College Theater Art Department get firsthand instruction on science fiction filming when they visit the set of Space 99 during the production of. And this is an official photo sent out for the production.
Hollywood Studios, love it.
Yep. And then, of course, some production art showing their ideas for the bridge. And it definitely still has a feel of UFO to it, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. But
good production art here.
This was very inspiring, I think, also to the people that would eventually work on Star Trek the Motion Picture. This is where that quote-unquote 70s aesthetic comes from. And having the open areas, large view screens. I mean, look, if you really think about it, we've talked about on this show before about the idea of a sequel Star Trek spinoff series.
That's the captain's office.
See, now, unlike Strange New Worlds, you could get away with having that because you've got the space to do it.
Well, the door is open behind the desk there because his back was actually to the bridge.
Yes.
The command center, the tactical operations center. And he would control it through that remote control, closing those hatch doors. But then this was his conference room and office.
Well, they took this idea for Star Trek The Next Generation and turned it into two different rooms, but made sure that they were right there attached to the main bridge for Star Trek The Next Generation. You had the captain's office, which was just off the bridge, but behind the main bridge, you also had their conference room.
Yep.
Wow.
And it was just amazing production value went into this.
Oh, yeah.
I think the weakest part is that dates this show is not the sets or the ships or the props. It's the costumes. It was the weakest part of the show.
And the opening theme.
No, that's an amazing opening theme. Shut up, John.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's out of date. I'm just saying it dates it to the 70s.
I'm just teasing you, buddy.
You know, I will say this. That's another thing that I think they took for Star Trek the Motion Picture and tried to do a little bit better. Whereas these costumes are a little more comfy. What they had for Star Trek the Motion Picture was a little bit on the tight side. There
were parts of the uniform that look, versions, because Kirk has like 4 costume changes in the motion picture.
Yeah.
And the one that he was wearing when he first comes on with the collar, and Spock's wearing a similar version of it, they looked good.
Yeah.
The collarless uniform looked crappy.
I just hated the fact that you had to have shoes, shiny shoes that were the same color as the clothes. And it's like, wow, that's going out there a little bit.
I know some people, friends of mine, back when it came out, were making fun of the belt buckles. Those belt buckles are too big. I'm like, those are the communicators. They're not belt buckles. That's the communicator.
The 70s, the large belt buckles. Man, I almost forgot how big our belt buckles were back then.
Oh, there's photo proof of me having when I had my Boston. I love that. I had my Boston belt buckle. Big ass thing.
Everybody had big belt buckles back then. I mean, they were just making them for all kinds of reasons. And I had my red, white, blue, and what other color? There's one other color that was in there. I think it was green belt buckle. Oh, geez.
Oh, actually, you know what, Rob? That's a good comment. Bring that back up. The costumes of season 2 were better because they looked more like tracksuits, back before tracksuits were a thing. And they were designed like that. And the jacket, it actually looked better.
Speaking of costumes, Gary.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody bemoan the fate of leisure suits from the 70s.
Oh, no.
Everybody misses the leisure suits.
I got to tell you, just like if vampires were real, nobody would miss them if they were all killed. Same thing with leisure suits. The leisure suit just was ridiculous. When you look back at the 70s, there were so many, like even the 60s, like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I just watched that again last week with Anima. And my God, when the Pan Am female stewardess, damn it, I'm going to say it. Stewardess walks out with a gigantic foam-filled ball-shaped hat that was so popular in the mid to late 60s. Man, it's one of the only moments in that movie where it felt dated. Even the suits they were wearing, you could get away with. Those aren't leisure suits they're wearing. They were the thin cut suits, single button, single breasted. Looked business casual. But leisure suits are like blue tuxedos. You know what I'm talking about, Prom? You know what I'm talking about. The 70s. And the uniforms from season 1 of Space 1999 has that same feel, as did Star Trek the Motion Picture costumes.
However, I like them in Space 1999.
You are in the minority on that one,
Yeah,
Martin.
those
I hate to
shirts
tell
in the first season had the giant industrial zipper down one arm, from the neck to one arm, but yet they still had cuffs and a collar.
I also heard there were complaints about how to pee from cast of what they had to go through in order to go to the bathroom. They had to practically undress to be able to go to the bathroom.
So. And to think, they kind of did it again when they had Star Trek The Next Generation.
With the onesies.
Yeah, with the onesies. And it's like, wow, people.
I told you about my experience with a fan at Oz Fest or whatever it's called up there in Seattle. And he had a onesie on. And he was like way too big. It was like a size or two too small. And it was stretched so thin around the waist that I could see that he was wearing adult Animaroos on his underwear band.
No,
yeah.
Really?
And the most terrifying moment for me was when I was sitting there with all my Star Trek artwork, and and he suddenly turned and locked eyes with me. And now I know what Jane Goodall felt like when a silverback gorilla came rushing at her. This guy started galloping towards me. He galloped. He didn't walk or run. He galloped everywhere. And he galloped towards me, and I started pushing against the back of my seat going, where's this going? What's happening? And he just wanted to tell me that he bought my artwork, and he wanted to know if I'd signed it, if he brought it in. And he went home and brought it back, and I signed it for him. And I even said, what did I say to him? Oh, I told him, because he commented, I like how you did the primary and secondary holes correctly on the Enterprise C, and how you got the right number of windows and you're in the right place. I said, well, I read Mike Lakuta's manual. I did all these things, read the concordance and all this stuff, and have tons of illustration and photo references and to go by. So yeah, thank you. It was very kind of you. All the work paid off. And when he walked away, this little dude next to me, he's medium-sized dude next to me who played a Jawa in Star Wars, goes, did you really read all those books to do that artwork? I said, no, I used a photograph from the show. It's a direct copy painting of a photo from the show. Of course it's accurate. But he liked it. It was important.
Hey, by the way, Kingsport Cal, who has been a member for 6 months, says,
"Oh,
read it, Gary."
Tennessee belt buckle. Yeah, outstanding, man. Good to see you, Cal. Who else is here? We need to recognize our people. We're almost at first break. We got Lord Thoth. All hell, Lord Thoth is here. Dom Ecker. Martin?
I'm sorry.
Dom Ecker.
That's the Eckert that talks about family.
Keely Chow is here. Hi, Keely. How you doing, man? Pope Metallicus is in the chat, and of course, Kingsport Cal. So we have 5 minutes for our break. So, okay, I googled leisure suit. Huge mistake. Yeah. The only good leisure suit was Leisure Suit Larry.
Somebody was calling you Leisure Suit Gary.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Fuck you, Darius. I love you, buddy. That's my one F word for the show. And it was directed at you, Darius. You know who you are. You bastard. You farging bastard.
Sons of bitches.
You sons of bitches. By the way, I want to talk while we're here. It's like I have an idea to do on the website. I want to have each one of the people that's a host like having their catchphrase. Like Keith is like, learn, or John would be like, I'm quiet. And then Don's would be, those sons of bitches. That's all it says next to its editing.
I thought mine would have been, whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
We have Low Spec Linus laptop.
Hey, Low Spec, what's up, man? I hope everybody was a fan of this show. And if you're not, go back and check this show out. The first episode is available for free on
YouTube.
YouTube. I can tell you can also find other episodes on there. Mm-hmm. The fact is some of the episodes Six, you're high six.
Hi, Six.
You rock
VHS.
You can also watch this for free with ads on Prime.
Really?
Prime. It's through Freevee.
Yeah.
Freevee is really good. I watch Columbo religiously. And these are HD copies.
Wow.
Not SD. HD copies through Freevee. And they've got Banachek is on there. McMillan and Wife.
Oh, you know what? I got to watch.
All of the Sunday Night Mystery shows are available through Freevee. Well, through CBS app on Freevee. And commercial breaks. And they're short commercial breaks.
That says a lot about current TV.
Heck, Ramsey. I tell you what, man. Why we started doing the show, Don, and I'll say this up to the lead into our commercial break with KGRA, is the fact that, and by the way, welcome all of our listeners on Rumble and on KGR streaming.
Fuel up, fuel up, fuel up.
This show is absolutely brought to you by Fuel Up. All of us are on it. Now, the funny part is, I had been using it for almost 2 weeks when someone says, you don't snort that, you mix it with water.
We got to keep an eye on Backdoor Gary.
Yeah, backdoor Gary. Even Don's in the act now. Thanks, Don. By the way, I do owe somebody a video. Let me go back to the comments. Go to the start. Monkey Jiba said Backdoor Gary's favorite magazine was Tiger Beat. F you, buddy. And you'll get your video. What year was 1984 set in is what Bush McFadden said. And then he said 2020 is when 1984 starts.
He's not wrong.
He is not wrong. Doctor Who was out of rotation on PBS by then, but my dad remembered it. He couldn't think of the name, so he called it Time Lords. And then, Dad, there's no show about magic alien doctor living in a phone booth who never dies. He just turns into different people. Oh my God. I would love to see that conversation. And there it is. Screw you, Darius. And screw you too, Monkey Jeebus. So for you, you get this one.
You pompous, stuck-up, snot-nosed, English giant, twerp, scumbag, fuckface, dickhead, asshole.
There you go.
That
one doesn't count. That one doesn't count. That was somebody else. No, doesn't count. Not me.
We have 1 minute, maybe less.
1 minute?
How dare you!
There you go. And for backdoor reference.
And Cam is here.
Oh, hi, Cam. Cam's Crash Course is here. And then for the backdoor reference here.
Open your back door, baby.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to say before the commercial break? Yeah, just.
I think we can talk about it on the other side.
Yeah, let's talk about it on the other side. Hi guys, this is Gary from Pop Culture Minefield here on KGRA, and we're leaving for our first break. I hope we survive.
A birthday without her mom. An anniversary without her husband. Her wedding day without her dad. These are the days when military families feel it most of all. The loss of their soldier, their sailor, their airman, their Marine, their Coast Guardsman. Families never forget their loved ones lost to war or illness or suicide. Families never forget, and neither do we. We are TAPS, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. We provide resources, support, and comfort to heal the hearts and meet the needs of grieving military families, all at no cost to them. Your generosity can make an enormous difference in the lives of the families of our fallen military heroes. Our military families need to know they are not alone and they are not forgotten. Show them your support at taps.org.
Important question facing humanity is on the verge of being settled once and for all. The Mutual UFO Network has been at the forefront of this journey for nearly 50 years. Our members worldwide are dedicated to the research, documentation, and awareness that will shape the future of humanity. Won't you join us?
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
Oh wow, we survived! Welcome back from the commercial break. Now for some more Pop Culture Minefield on KGRA. Hey, we're back! Yeah.
Sorry, that last minute sound was my newest sound. I hadn't had a chance to use it yet.
Yeah, I was wondering, what the hell was that?
It was this.
So, we are back for the second half of the show.
Clytus, I'm bored.
Oh, I was like, what was it? Now I know. Okay.
It's from
So
Flash
we are
Gordon.
talking about Space 1999. See the bar up at the top there? Space 1999.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any Space 1999 sounds.
Okay. Jit, as he said, Jit. Say, where is that accent from, Martin? Where are you from?
From Ohio.
From Ohio.
After the toxic spill.
Oh my God! Yeah, I don't even get into that. Jeez, man, what a mess. We have a starred comment that I want to put back up here. Here we go. There you go. Hey Gary, how do you confuse a drummer? Put sheet music in front of him. Eat shit, Pope. You and Courtney. What is this? I want to believe. And then 6 says, I could use $20. Acknowledge that voice, Gary. Everybody is here. It's been a good show so far. Keith, are you back yet? Did he go for a potty break? He does that.
Yeah.
He's got a little girl's bladder. I guess he's not back. Stuff might be happening over there. So let's get into season 1 of Space 1999. John, you're a fan of the show too.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on season 1?
I thought season 1 was as good as the original season of Star Trek. It was, the stories were interesting. You had great character development, and the sets were, I thought they were amazing, and the ships were cool as hell.
Yeah, it's just they put a lot of effort into it. There's no question about it. What did you think of the storytelling?
Like I said, I thought it was well written, and it didn't get mired down in, because it's, once again, they're hurtling through space, but like Deep Space Nine, they're stuck in one place. They're all on effectively a space station.
Well, you realize, of course, what would have happened with the Earth if we lost the moon.
Oh, the tidal impact. The tidal impact would have been disastrous for Earth.
Yeah, they ripping away the moon would have caused these huge tidal waves initially that probably would have wiped out most of humanity.
Yep.
But hey, they don't care. They're on the moon now, so
Because a lot of people, the Earth is not perfectly round, of course.
No.
But on top of that, the water on Earth is pulled and constantly being pulled due to the moon and its gravitational pull itself. Our pull on them and their pull back at us is what keeps them in that orbit. And so therefore the water, if you were to watch it as just an object that you're sitting there looking at, the water would be always like pulled at one time, which is why tides come and ebb and such. And people don't really take the skyscraper view of what that would look like. And that's what it would look like, a big drop of water that's constantly being pushed around. And all of a sudden, that thing that keeps it like that moves away, and then it just splashes in and just starts covering everything. And it's kind of a scary thought what would happen if we lost the moon.
Well, thank you, Sean, for being a member, for becoming a member.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about earlier. It's right at the very first of the comments.
Oh, I don't have
made that announcement. Huh, that's weird. It's in mine, so I started. So, and yeah, thanks again, Sean, for becoming a member, man. I love you too, Pope. I miss those guys. I miss doing time. Until my artwork starts decelerating and becoming calmer. I require those 3 days a week of doing the artwork and not being able to do Toxic Tuesday. And I hate it because I really feel like I'm missing something when I don't hang out with those guys. I don't even get to watch it. And that irritates me. So I'd like to be watching the show, but I'm always busy doing artwork. Earth looks like a giant boob and Mount Everest is the nipple. I swear to God, whatever you're taking, dude, share. Don't hoard it. Share with us.
I think between Boosh and Monkey that there's some heavy drugs going on.
Something going on. Must be month anniversary, I think, Martin Acosta Santana. There we go. Sean said that to you. Sean's member thing keeps popping up. Maybe YouTube F up. No, it's because he just got it. So it's going to be in there. So I think it's good. They're wanting to remind us, that he's become a member. And I think that's good. That or Sean's doing something, monkeying around like Monkey Jeebus. Hey, Keith, are you back yet? No?
Yep. Well, if you want to talk about the story, we can even get into the first episode just from the first episode in the get-go. Because I mean, you've got this
first episode was called Breakaway.
Yeah. That you've got this captain that's been replaced by an administrator, basically, for reasons that we don't know initially. We've got an obviously nefarious administrator, but that may just be because he's who he's played by. You've got, so this commander's coming into the situation. You've got, you find out that they've been storing nuclear waste on the moon. And there's an issue where there seems to be some sort of a disease that's causing these people to go crazy. And so you later find out that it's that the administration knew that this was causing a problem, and that's why they basically set Martin Landau up there to fail. At least in my opinion.
Commander
Didick. I always suspected when I watched that first film pilot that there was, and Keith is back. Yay. I always suspected that there was more to the plot and premise with the aliens.
Yeah.
That they just sort of, I don't know what happened to it. It felt like there was more to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And it should have been there. Because it's really important to what's happening to them on the moon.
Yeah. And just the and the thing, somebody point, the thing that some people might find inconsistent is when they do the moonscape scenes, they appear to be in low gravity, but everybody walks around normal on the sets inside. Well, according to like the tech stuff, that's because they had artificial gravity in the buildings.
That's from the official Moonbase Alpha tech manual, which you can find through the Jerry. Yeah, you can find on Amazon. You could also find it through Jerry Anderson's official store.
Yeah,
and I go there all the time, man, because I subscribe to them just so I can go look at all the cool stuff they got that I want to buy.
Gary Anderson also has a wonderful YouTube channel. They're always showing stuff on there that's awesome.
And I love the documentary about the history of their productions. By the way, Bush brought this up in the chat. Here you go. This is the image he's talking about. It's goofy looking. And that is actually not what the Earth looks like under the water. It does not look like that. That's a false representation, but it is goofy looking. But that is not what the Earth looks like underneath all the water.
It's actually a flattened pear kind of shape.
Yeah, it's not even pear shaped. There is a slight roundness to it. It's more like an egg, but this is actually a better representation, not perfect, of what the Earth looks like. It's not that's way too round looking. It's not completely perfectly round. It's orb shaped. But that is really, because you have deep parts of it, there are portions of valleys and stuff down there, but a lot of it is pretty much like this. It's just all the continents stick up above it, the water line.
Mm-hmm.
And what keeps that water line at bay is the pull from the moon. So,
Yeah.
but that was the one I think you were talking about, Bush, because I was aware of that one. So let's talk about the first episode. Technically, the second. The pilot is the first episode. I know that.
Yeah.
But it's also referred to a lot as episode 0. And so episode 1 is actually episode 2. And episode 2 is what they combined with the pilot to turn into a theatrical release. And they released it theatrically. And this was actually something that was a common practice. You saw it with Battlestar Galactica too.
Mm-hmm.
They took that pilot and turned it into a movie, and I went to see it. I paid to go see it.
They also did that with Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers too. That's right. I paid to go see that one
in the 70s. Oh, Gary, Darius Munchausen just gifted 5 subs.
Oh wow! Wow! Wow!
So Penny, Altair, D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth, and Joseph Dredd all got a membership.
Outstanding. Thanks, Darius. You're a good dude, man.
Yep.
And I can hear one of them going, "But I didn't want it."
Well, you got it, so enjoy it.
So enjoy it. The oceans get deep fast, down tens of thousands of feet. Yep, it's true. The Marianas Trench is one of the deepest regions of the ocean.
Yeah.
One of, not the deepest, but one of the deepest. So, wow, that's really cool, Darius. Awesome job, man. And so episode 2, what was episode 2? I forget.
Let's see. Episode 2.
You're going to make me think because I only
Force
watched
of
the first
Life.
episode today.
Yeah, Force of Life. Good episode.
And in that one, a wandering energy force inhabits the body of Alpha technician Anton Zoref, played by a very beloved actor of this day and age, a gentleman by the name of Ian McShane.
Yep.
Best known for Deadwood as the cussing owner of the bar.
No C word to be found.
Yeah.
Although now known to a lot of younger people as Winston.
Yeah, from John Wick.
And what this episode reminded me of was the second pilot of Star Trek with Kirk that they made, where they go through a barrier and suddenly 2 crew members are affected by it and given powers. And this kind of reminded thematically of that this guy is going through something that's affecting him.
Yeah.
So, and basically what Space 1999 was originally, it was a space base on the moon, but they ended up becoming a spaceship by having the leash between Earth and it being separated from a nuclear blast, an atomic blast. And so now they are the Enterprise going through space now.
And of course, we all know that back in 1957 or 8, there was a Pentagon plan to shoot a nuke at the moon. You knew that, right?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine those morons actually wanted to shoot a nuke at the moon? Just to show the Russians we had the rockets that are capable of it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. I'm serious. That's insane.
Of course it is. But that's our government at work.
We have a plan, well, an idea that using tactical nukes could possibly put like an course, anything that's potentially aimed at the planet. That's something that you see approached in that really not as good film about asteroids colliding with Earth with Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis.
Armageddon.
Yeah, that movie. The not as good film as Deep Impact. Deep Impact's a better film. And but we'll put tactical nukes on there, and we'll detonate them. It'll break it up, and plus it'll alter the course. It's an idea, and I think
it basically turns it into a giant shotgun. Is what it does.
Yeah.
The best bet is to get it early enough and have some sort of tractor satellite slowly pulling it out of sync.
Pulling on it. Yep. It would have been more effective to threaten painting the moon red while maybe deep blue. Deep Impact. Look, Pope, I'm not going to shit on that movie. I enjoyed it, but I did get angry at it. I got angry when we had to deal with Bruce Willis dying not once, not twice, but 3 freaking times. They had to do the heartstrings thing.
Dude,
and
Deep
there
Impact
comes
is
a
the
point,
other one.
Yeah, Deep
Oh,
Impact.
Deep Impact. I'm sorry. Deep Impact is a good one.
Yeah.
The most moving moment of that one is when Tia Leone's character goes to see her dad, played by great European actor Maximilian Schell. And he's standing there prepared for his death as the tidal wave is coming in. And she goes to die with him.
Yeah.
Her dad.
Giving up her space on the chopper.
Yep.
To woman with a kid.
Yep. And chooses, and I love her boss, played by Animal from Hill Street Blues. And he's just sitting at the fountain outside the newspaper with his back to the tidal wave, reading the paper. Just like, screw it. I don't want to see it coming. I'm just going to go about my day like I normally would, read the newspaper. And then she goes out, and the last word is dad or daddy.
Daddy.
Yeah.
I would have
probably
taken
try to
my
do
bottle of
something
bourbon
stupid
out
and
there.
surf it.
Sorry. I heard that bottle of bourbon from Don, but what did you say, John?
Said I'd probably do something stupid and try and surf it.
Like Big Pliskin.
Yep.
And that stupid, Escape from LA movie.
I would have done something if it were me in that situation. I'd be watching Armageddon.
Let me tell you something, Darius. I know the one you're talking about. My favorite Ian McShane moment was in the Adam Sandberg movie where he wants to be a stuntman and do bike stunts. You know the movie I'm talking about?
I think my favorite moment, even though it's a really
nobody's going to respond
movie,
and say they know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
No, I have no idea.
Okay, I'll go find it so you guys can look dumb.
Anyway, was it in Conan when he goes and stands out in front of the arrows, and they all miss?
What are we?
Conan?
Was that Conan?
I thought that was Hercules.
Was that Hercules? Okay. They were both not good. So
and then he was also in that attempt at remaking Hellboy too.
Yeah.
All right.
I got confused.
Here we go.
Hello, Courtney.
Let's see. Oh, is Courtney here? Yeah, somebody made your joke, Courtney. I think it was Pope Metallicus. Said, how do you confuse a drummer? Put sheet music in front of him. So I hope you're happy. Let's see. Here we go. Here's the movie. And I'll play the trailer real quick. With Ian McShane within this. Plays his
Kevin, did we reinforce the takeoff ramp? No, we didn't have time. Cool. Oh!
Hot Rod. Get ready to meet your maker. Oh, God! We hadn't even started yet!
I love that freaking movie. I really do.
I've never seen it. I'll have to check it out.
Gotcha. Ian McShane is his dad that's constantly beating the shit out of him. It's just great. Oh my God. Yeah. Hot Rod is the movie, Keith. You uneducated heathen. I can't believe you don't know that movie. It just blows my mind. Did we lose Keith again?
I said, what? If you're going to start
What?
calling me names, call me names for something that I actually, what I'm about to confess to, which is I never liked Deep Impact. I'm sorry. I never liked that movie.
Oh, somebody
Wow, what
kicked
happened
him.
to-
I don't know who did that.
Damn you.
How could
dare
you not
you.
like a movie that has Morgan Freeman as president?
Hold on.
Tia
hold on.
Leone.
Hold on. One of them. Hello? NAACP? Yeah, I'm back on. Hold on. Hey, guys.
Yeah, I got the email from him. Put it back on. You don't kick the black guy.
That's right.
So, let's see.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
Hot
there
Rod
it
is just a great film. I so thoroughly enjoyed that. I'd always hoped to get a sequel from it. You know,
Yeah.
I like silly comedies like that just make you laugh and feel good. And it's sort of like a lot of people didn't like. What was it, the racing movie that Will Ferrell did? I enjoyed the crap out of it. I'm a big fan of NASCAR. A lot of NASCAR people enjoyed that film.
If you're not first, you're last.
Oh, you're talking about Talladega Nights. Sorry.
Yeah, shake and bake.
My brain, you said Will Ferrell. My brain said Colin Farrell, and I'm like, Colin Farrell did a NASCAR movie?
Oh, wait. Vertex, I didn't like the Impact either. And I'll be honest, I like Armageddon, but not for any of the A-list characters. I liked it for the Russian cosmonaut. The cosmonaut was actually one of the best parts. Also, the dude that goes crazy is great. What's his name from
Steve
Detroit?
Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, former fire department. And
Guys, I'm good now.
I'm not crazy anymore. You can unbuckle me. But no, it's I think he's Swedish, that actor that played the Russian in that. Really good actor.
Oh my God.
He played Satan, and he played Satan.
Yeah, in Constantine. That's right.
Yeah.
One of my favorite films was kind of one of the early ones for him. It was before he did Fargo, because he's also the killer in Fargo. He was in a little film called Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, didn't you
And
see?
he was really good in that film.
Didn't you see Commander Hamilton? Or Hamilton, depending of who's distributing the film. It's with him. He's the protagonist of Special Swedish Forces.
Oh, cool.
And Mark
Very
Hamill
good
is the
actor.
villain.
And thank you, Courtney. She just shared the show out. I got a notification. And I will share her share. I will share her share. Peter Stormare. What an actor. That dude is amazing.
Yeah.
He had a TV show called Swedish Dicks. No shit. Keanu Reeves produced it. And he's in it. He actually makes an appearance in it. Swedish Dicks. I swear to God, it's real. Go look it up. He starred in it. Keanu plays a small part in it. And it's really pretty good. It's funny.
British?
No, he is not French.
No, I'm asking for the name of the movie.
What movie?
The
show? Yeah. Swedish Dicks. It's called Swedish Dicks. About Yep, detectives.
Oh, you're so observant, aren't you? Are you a detective?
I like that one. It's really good. But absolutely, Stormare is his name. The first time I ever saw him was in Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis and the kid from Sixth Sense. Was it the kid? Was that the kid? Wasn't that the kid? Or who was in that movie? Let me go look it up. Now I'm getting confused, and I might be thinking about the wrong actor. Mercury Rising.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, Haley Joel Osment. Yeah.
So he did 2 movies. No, it's Miko. He was the kid from Pet Sematary. The original.
Mercury Rising, did that have like a boat in it?
I don't remember.
Is that the one where he's like a boat cop or something?
It was an early film.
No. That's the mystery. That's the one that he's done where he's trying to solve a murder mystery, but he's
and
a
the
boat
kid
cop.
is mute. He's got Asperger's or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's another
Trouble
different
talking.
movie. That's
Okay.
you guys are mixing a lot of different Bruce Willis films together, and so
Well,
we got to try to.
Aren't they all the same though? Really?
They all kind of run together. Let's be honest.
Look at this cast. I mean, you had Miko as the kid that he's protecting. This guy who's an actual murderer. He's the only bald one who actually killed another human being. Kim Dickens, although he's killed a lot of movies too. Chai McBride, early
I
film
like
for
Chai
him.
McBride.
And there's Peter Stormare and John Carroll Lynch, who really, he was always bit parts. And what was awesome about this is it was one of the things that ended up getting him the job on the Drew Carey show as Drew's brother on the show. Trainee brother, the transvestite. Very good show, very good actor. Let's see. Jack Connolly always plays assholes in movies. This was one of his first ones.
Kevin Conway.
Yeah.
Kevin Conway. Yep.
Yep.
This is a movie that if you've never seen, go back and check this movie
John
out.
Dorman.
Yeah, look at the cast, man. A lot of people who are nobodies that eventually you see all over the place today. And some who just disappeared with that one movie. It's a good film. I like the film. I haven't seen it since it came out. I went to see it in the theater. That's the last time I saw it, Mercury Rising. But I enjoyed it. Wow. My problem is once I see a good film, a lot of times if it's not a great film, that's it. I only needed to see it that one time to enjoy it and appreciate it. He kills Alec Baldwin in Mercury Rising. It's a good film. And you know what? I hung out with science guys, Jim Woodward, Danny, just all my like Danny was an actual chemical engineer for the U.S. government. And we're sitting around a house after going to see it in the theater. And Danny goes, shouldn't have been called Mercury Falling? It is true. It really should have been called Mercury Falling. Mercury rises, pressure is dropping. When pressure is increasing, it drops. So,
Veritex? No, that's not.
Jeff.
Yeah, that's Jeff Conaway.
Jeff
Conaway.
So,
from
different actor. Yeah.
Yeah, from Taxi.
So, getting back to Space 1999, I do want to talk about some of the cast. Really, this was a coup, but it's a funny coup to me, getting Martin Landau and Barbara Bain, because they hadn't been big since the end of their careers with Mission Impossible. They really weren't very well known for much between 1967 until Space 1999. They did mostly stage.
Yeah, they did a lot of stage work, and so coming out of that,
they
were.
But comment on this though, Keith, that this is something that people don't know about with Hollywood back then, that we know more about today. People are more savvy today and learn about being blacklisted in film and TV.
Mm-hmm.
That if you leave a show under the grounds by which they left Mission Impossible, you're not probably going to work for a little bit.
Well, it was actually he that left first because she stayed on.
She left because she was married to him.
Yeah, but I mean, she didn't leave immediately. She stayed with the show another 1 to 2 years, and then left because she was on there long enough to cross over with the guy that with Leonard Nimoy. Because when Star Trek went off the air, Nimoy didn't actually leave the Desilu lot. He just went down a couple of doors to work with Mission Impossible. So he replaced the guy who was up for his job originally.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Very weird.
It's very weird. But I don't recall Barbara staying long because she was eventually recast too.
True. She was. But it was really Martin.
I didn't think she lasted more than a season. She went from 66 to 69 is when she did. And she left in 69. And when did he leave?
Martin Landau lasted until 66. No,
Hold
67.
on. I'm looking.
67.
When
67.
did Sam Elliott join the cast?
No, he stayed through 69. I'm looking at it. They left the same year. He played regular roles on Mission Impossible between 66 and 69 is what it says here on Wikipedia. Now, I know that they're not the end all of fucking accurate information. Whoop, there's my second for the show. Number 2. I'm double checking here. I'm going through here. Martin Landau before left the show.
Isn't that when they brought in Sam Elliott?
Yeah, he ended in 69. He left in 69. So they left the same year, Keith. Go double check. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I'm double checking right now.
Because it seems like she lasted one extra episode. And then because of her commitment to her spouse, she felt compelled that she had to leave for their marriage. And to stand, what's that called? When you stand with somebody. She was standing with him because he was trying to get more money as one of the main characters. And CBS said no. And so he left. And then she left with him. And they just simply recast. I think that you lost something when he left the show as Paris. Paris was my favorite character.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I really dispute that. Hold on. And what did you look that up on? Wikipedia or
it's on Wikipedia, and it shows that he left in 69.
Hold on. I am getting this from IMDb.
I'm going to look up his final episode. Martin Landau's final episode was Jeeps. It's nothing. It doesn't give me anything. Thanks, Google.
Thank you very much, Google.
I looked up specifically Martin Landau's last episode of Mission Impossible. Nothing. It didn't give me anything. I'm just going to click on this, like, see what it says. Landau was in American, blah, 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 blah. You know what? IMDb will give it to me. I'll just go to IMDb because you can actually look at all of his episodes. Martin Landau, Roland Hand, General Rio Domingos. Yeah, I thought his name was Paris. It's Roland Hand. That was his name.
Roland Hand, because Paris was the character that they created for Leonard Nimoy.
Nimoy, that's right. So
I know we've gotten off track, but this is important.
Yeah, you guys just sit back.
Talk
maybe
amongst yourself. Yeah.
Switch channels. No, don't do that.
No,
Stay. Don't go. This is Keith and me doing a deep dive.
Yeah, real deep dive.
Okay,
Here
what
we
I
go.
do is I'm going to go
Mission
to
Impossible
IMDb, look up Martin Landau, and
TV.
and then you click on the information about Mission Impossible.
Let's see.
Oh my God, his career is so long.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through it right now, going, "Oh my God, his career."
I know I had
he
to
had a
step
great
away,
career,
but weren't we talking about Space 1999?
yeah, but we're talking about Martin Landau now.
Okay.
Because he's part of that show.
Yeah,
and this is
yeah,
important.
counts.
Keith and I said this is important. We need to find this out because basically they hadn't had a career since they left the show. Is really what we're saying, and in the end, it was kind of a coup because they had gone to stage. Their film and TV careers were bit part stuff. They weren't getting a lot of work because they were blacklisted, is really what happened. Because you don't do that without bruising egos. And there are people in Hollywood that do this all the time to this day. You'll never work in this town again. You do this shit. And back then, that stuff was kept private.
Season 4. Season 4 of Mission Impossible was Leonard Nimoy. So they didn't last the entire run of the series.
No, they didn't. He did 76 episodes.
It was season 3 was their final season with the show. So
he lasted 3 seasons, and his final episode is the season finale, Interrogator, 1969. So there you go. And now we can look up Barbara Bain and do the same thing and see which was her final episode.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bet that it was either the same episode or she did 78 episodes. So let's get to the third season. Her final episode was, Interrogator 2. She played Cinnamon Carter in the final episode of the season. That was her last show. So she left the same time as him. So what they did by doing what they did, he was trying to get more money.
Mm-hmm.
She left because of being married and showing solidarity with her spouse. And they basically cut their throats for solid TV work. And along comes this Brit who says, look, mate, I really love Mission Impossible. Let's get there. It's almost like Ed Wood getting Bela Lugosi is the way I almost look at that, because their careers were over on TV.
Actually, according to the documentary about Space 1999, they were doing dinner theater when they were found by when
again,
Gary Anderson.
That's what they were relegated to.
Yeah,
and it's really tragic. But when you play games like that with networks and studios, they'll play right back with you, and they'll screw you out of your career. And their careers were over in Hollywood. And people don't know this. This is what happened to Martin Landau and her. And that they got a revival of their careers is a miracle. And I love it when it happens. And he had two. He had Space 1999, and then again, not much. He was relegated to lower movies. And then all of a sudden, Ed Wood gets made. And that's why I think it's funny that because there is a connection mentally to what they did to their careers and what happened to Bela Lugosi. Doing drugs got him in trouble with doing film, making film. Because Boris Karloff didn't, he had a good career all the way to his death. Bela suffered because of his drug abuse. He was problematic. And it was well known within Hollywood that he had a drug problem. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have a reason for that drug problem, because it was pain, chronic pain, that started it. But anyway, that's what happened. And so when Jerry Anderson found them doing dinner theater, that's just perfect. You get a revival of Baines and Landau's career.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great, man. They were great together. They got great on-screen chemistry, always have. That's how they got into a relationship, was because of that.
I think somewhere in the early 1970s, mid to late 1970s, is when they started having children, and their daughter Juliet was born. I think someone
who is also in Ed Wood.
Yes. Well, she started out as a ballerina, professional ballerina, producer, director, actress, and she eventually wound up on Buffy.
Drew, the vampirist.
Yeah, Drusilla. That's their daughter.
Yeah, I'll show it to you real quick. Juliet Landau is there. She is
already.
She is the daughter of Barbara Bain and Martin Landau.
Mm-hmm.
And she was great in Ed Wood. She's hilarious in that film too. Very good actor. So but what?
To go back to Space 1999, what was your favorite episode?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oddly, one of my favorites was from season 2. It's the one when they go onto that planet that starts to retard their evolution and make them cavemen and stuff.
Yeah.
That was actually a fun episode.
Mine's
you remember that one?
Turtle Machine.
The asteroid. Yeah.
Where Ghent shows up.
That was good stuff. And it had a Doctor Who feel to it too, with some of the aliens, like with Christopher Lee's Alien. God, just so many great actors were on it. Brian Blessed, just great
David
Shakespearean actor.
Yeah, you had to point him out last night because I forgot that he was on there.
There's a lot of people.
You can't miss him. First of all, he's got a mouth big enough to fit a softball in. And the flattest teeth since Teddy Roosevelt. His choppers just amazingly, perfectly flat. Brian Blessed, man. He's gotten shit on for the Everest thing. It's like, one guy actually was making fun of him. I said, what the fuck have you done? Excuse me, that's the third for the show. What have you done?
Don't worry, Gary, I'm counting.
I know. I'm done.
We're up to 4. That one still, the video still counts against you because you played it.
You know what? My favorite episode was from season 1, Death's Other Door. That one was really good for me.
Which one was that one?
That's the one where they find this planet where there's people that are been living there. Now I got to go look that up. It's basically people from Earth that are living there, and they've been made kind of immortal, and they've been there for over 800 years. And they invite some of the crew to stay with them. And it turns out not all is what it appears to be. So
yeah,
I look. The thing that I really enjoyed about Space 1999 is that it was an attempt to also create kind of like real science fiction on television. It wasn't all about just trying to have the monster of the week, which is what season 2 became. It was about trying to tell. Bye, Courtney. It's about trying to basically take science fiction aspects and turn it into regular episodic television. And Darius.
What did he say?
Death's Other Door, starring Gary Cassell.
Death's Back Door.
Death's Other Back Door.
Back Door,
yeah.
okay.
You bastages. You bastages.
Strong. I'm going to go check the back door. Back door.
Wow.
Despite, like, Metamorph is Brian Blessed's second time on Space 1999, because first time he was on it, he was part of Moonbase. He played a character on the Moonbase. And then in season 2, he came back in Metamorph, which is the beginning of the new character. He's the father of her, Maya's dad.
That's the season premiere of season 2, right?
Right. See, the first episode. And we got to see some really cool stuff. New Adam, New Eve was a good episode, which is Maya and Anthony become like, we may be stuck here. But I'm trying to remember, there was one episode, and I can't remember, I think it was season 2, where they find a planet and they think this could be a place where they could stay, but then they find out it's actually dangerous, that it's not what it seems. And I think that was in the second season. And it was another good one I liked.
That's pretty much every planet they find.
No, but that the planet was being deceptive, intentionally deceptive, that there was an intelligence.
Here's the other thing that my twin brother pointed out. He goes, the thing about Space 1999, I kind of made me uneasy, he said, was, you notice how everybody's kind of wearing an oranges off red type color, and how you got a lot of people that just sort of end up dead, like they didn't understand that from Star Trek. I said, "What? Ooh, yeah, you're
orange
right.
is the new red.
Orange is the new red."
Okay, I found it. This is my favorite episode. I had to look through all of the episodes for the one that really rang that bell. Here it is. I found it. This is near the end of the season. It's season 2, episode 23. One of my favorites, the Immunity Syndrome. This is where a planet wants to destroy them because they discovered it. And Koenig has to convince the planet that they will leave and not betray their secrecy, their existence. And it feels so Star Trek. And look at that costume, man. I love the costumes from season 2. You are so right. Those jogging jackets, look really good on them.
Mm-hmm.
Great costumes, don't look all spandex on their bodies and shit.
Yeah.
I love the show, and that episode is really good. Let me see what it says here. The arrival of the Alphans on another planet seems to cause a change in its atmosphere, setting off pollution and poisoning of the water. They meet Zoran, the sole survivor of the last exploratory force, who tells them that the planet is controlled by a mortal being with whom Koenig must parley if he and his crew are to leave the planet alive. And it was really my absolute favorite episode of the series, right there.
Well, in the official Jerry Anderson store, they now have a book that they've just released. Andrew E.C. Gaska has a book called To Everything That Was, and it's meant to be a bridge between the first season and the second season, filling in the gap between the first season and the second season. So for those of you that are fans, there is a book now that kind of helps to explain some of the...
It's right here. This is the official shop. JerryAnderson.com is the website. And here is the comic. Everything That Was is the in-between, because it explains why the one doctor is gone and what led to the events that brought about season 2. This is a great website. A lot of cool toys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, some of them are expensive, but I mean, look at this. Who wouldn't want that from Thunderbirds?
$67 is actually kind of cheap if you're really gonna...
Under $100, and you could have that cool ass toy. Let's go on to shop product. Let's look for vehicles, and then I want to go to scale figure. Look at all this stuff. Oh my god!
Here we go. The Moonbase Alpha Technical Operations Manual. But this is what they just have out now. The UFO Shadow Technical Operations Manual. Oh my goodness.
Look at that. Deluxe action figure. 12-inch collectible. Space 1999. Yeah. It's Koenig. Oh, that is... Daddy wants that.
They're sold out on here, but I know you can get them other places. Like I found them on Walmart, believe it or not.
Hey, you can get the long sleeve T-shirt version of the uniform.
Yeah,
which is an easy costume for Halloween.
But
I've always wanted this right here, the tech manual.
You can get the soundtrack in silver vinyl.
Yeah,
look at all this: the puzzle, the games. Model kits. This is another thing, because I have one of the models, and I love that thing, man. I love my Eagle, man. I've got this guy right there. This guy here, 3 feet of model sitting right in front of me. I'm going to go ahead and grab it just so I can show it to you guys.
Hey guys, I got a split, but thanks for the invite.
Oh, you bet,
for
man.
coming, Don.
And I don't know much of it you can see, but it's gigantic. It's disappearing.
I'm so jelly. I am so jealous.
It's an amazing model kit made by my buddy Brian. Love that thing. So we are down to the last minutes of the show. This is Jerry Anderson's website. Absolutely, it's the official store. You can buy a lot of these things. Just this is amazing. Look at this stuff. 1999
they've
different
got
models
from the Infernal Machine.
Really?
Yeah, model Space 1999 models, the Infernal Machine. They're sold out, but that means they're out there somewhere in the wild.
Yeah. And there you go. The little buggy, man. I love those little buggies because that was in the pilot episode. You got to see those.
Yep. Awesome. They got model kit of the Hawk.
Vinyl toys. Let's see what's in vinyl. Nothing. Space Precinct. You remember that show?
Yep.
Wow.
Hey, you can download the app for the Anderson Entertainment for free from either Apple or Android. Anderson Entertainment.
And once again, you can pre-order the comic that's going to be telling that in-between story. $50. It's a graphic novel. So I don't know how many pages is it.
Not enough.
Pre-order price offer is just 35 quid. Well, 36 quid, or $50. This is very exciting that they're going to do this. That's awesome.
These tech manuals have they've got my attention. I love the detail on this stuff.
Wow, they have Four Feather Falls, the complete series, which is their first series.
Yeah, we're nerding out now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, for those of you who can only listen to the show, I am so sorry. But we have put a link in there for Jerry Anderson's official site.
Yep.
And as I was saying before, there's an actual app that is free to download. For those of you who want to do that, it's Anderson Entertainment. You can find it either on Apple or
they renamed it. Now it's called Ander App.
Ander App? Wow. Okay. Ander App. Got it.
And as I said before, sorry.
No, go ahead.
As I said before, they have a wonderful YouTube channel.
Oh,
yes. So as soon as you guys are done listening, go ahead and just start right out with the first episode, the pilot, Breakaway, and see what you think. Have a good time with it. I envy those of you that have no idea what we're talking about, because you're about to be introduced to something.
Yeah, it's not old anymore. It's new because it's new to you.
Yeah,
and so
that's right.
By the way, I want to share this. This is from Parrot Head over on our Pop Culture Minefield group on Twitter. Drop the banner.
Wait. There.
6.7 on the far sheet.
Oh, jeez.
Technically, really, it's my burps because I burp a lot. Poor Anima. She just laughs when I do it. I'll go, let one out. I don't hide it. I make them loud and juicy.
Wow.
Why?
This is funny. I find
need
it funny. I tell people all the time, half my jokes, if not most of them, aren't for your entertainment. They're for mine. I laugh at it. It just so happens other people might find it funny too. I'm always doing shit to amuse myself.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Gemma. How are you doing? Anima says Gary is a caveman, no manners. So
he's not a caveman. He's a garage troll.
That's scary.
I'm willing to bet he's got caveman DNA.
Oh, I'm definitely Cro-Magnon related because they always considered Cro-Magnon or is it Neanderthal? They considered a cul-de-sac. Neanderthal was a cul-de-sac, and it's not. They've shown that like 70% of all life on the planet has DNA from humans. And it's just and I'm one of those people. I have Neanderthal in it. I did the DNA 1, 2, 3, and they're like, "Yep, yeah, you got some caveman in you," and it explains a lot. It really does. Phrasing.
hopefully you can get.
Oh man, you twisted that, you pervert! It's like that line, you got any caveman in you? Would you like some? Homo sapiens sapien. That's true. They found out that our organs matched.
Yep.
It's true, Anima. So anyway, like Geico, what's this? What do you? I don't know. What that means.
The caveman.
Oh, the caveman. Yes. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for watching the show today. This is fun. I love talking about these old shows. And, do we have any more videos we needed to play that you had lined up, Martin?
We had the Protectors trailer.
Show that real quick, because it's important. You know, we need to cue these up when it happens. We got to remember that we got videos at stockpile. What was the other one?
The trailer from the HD remaster of Space 1999.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that one. Do not talk over it, because they will gank us for it. And I got to delete it later.
Give me a second. I prepared the wrong trailer.
Do we have time? I don't know if we have time.
I think we just
no. I don't think so.
Or two.
We had 5 minutes 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So we're out of time. How long is the trailer?
Which one?
Doesn't matter. Whatever one you got queued up.
1 minute. We have time for that.
All right, play it real quick.
Pressure, pressure, pressure. The Protectors. Oh, you give it pressure.
The Protectors. Robert Vaughn, star of The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
This is Harry Root.
And Nairi Dawn Porter.
Okay, now what's this about Harry?
Are members of The Protectors, an international organization of detectives.
Terrific. Anything else?
Their mission is to protect those in peril wherever they may be.
Shut up and listen. I'll tell you what to do.
No matter what the risk, each episode sizzles with intrigue and suspense. Robert Vaughn and Nairi Dawn Porter are The Protectors.
I'm glad they started on her boobs when they band upward. It's like, okay. All right. Bill, are we out of time? Time to end the show. All right, man. Bill, take us out of here. We'll see you guys next Saturday.